You know, and that's funny because now it's dawned. Look at this. I almost felt sorry for Virgil here, Static Shock, because it just dawned on him. He's like, hey, I think that this guy is racist. You know, I expected the dad to run out and say, what the thing I've been telling the whole time? I gotta call you your face? If that's what it takes.
You know? He has that shocked Pikachu face right now. He's like,
I know.
What?
Hey, you might say that Static is shocked.
Oh, that I'm gonna go. That's awful.
Double Toasted on Broadway. The great musical that everybody's been waiting on. No, actually, we're going to replace that poster right there. We're only saying that because we're going to be at the Broadway Comedy Club September 29th for a night of comedy. It's going to be very, well, all our shows have a big emphasis on comedy, but this one even more so. We're going to be at the Broadway Comedy Club September 9th. Going to be in the Red Room. The show is at 10 p.m. That's a Friday. Tickets are $25, and it is very limited space. I think we're going to have about 50 seats available in there, and we want to fill those seats because we want to make this a regular thing. It's an intimate show. I'm going to be coming out and talking to the audience and doing a little, I guess you could say a little stand-up in a way, but it's going to be, just a little comedy, a little different from what we do. And then we'll bring Oz out, and then we'll do a little more traditional double toasted stuff. And then we're going to probably have some people come up and do some comedy on their own, do a little open mic night, and let the crowd, the audience, judge how you do. So if we can make this a regular thing, we'll try to do it every other month, and we'll be in New York every other month, hopefully at the Broadway Comedy Club. That's if we can actually fill the room. So come on out and get your tickets. So I'm going to open up by saying this. The Black experience in America, and some people say the world, but I'm just going to go ahead and just say America has always been, has had a level of struggle to it. You understand what I'm saying, Nick?
Yeah.
So we as Black people, we have a tendency to keep it real in everything we do, and especially in entertainment. And we keep it real, speaking of entertainment, we even keep it real in our cartoons for kids out there. And some of you have seen this over and over again. This has happened ever since I was a kid.
What are you staring at, you rotten little bastard?
This is a very special episode of Fat Albert where they went to jail and they decided to, in order to just give you the real experience of what it was like in jail, they just went ahead and let these prisoners cuss them out. A lot of pedophiles in this jail right here, man. So cartoons featuring Black characters, are directed towards a Black demographic or whatever, have always, they've been fun for the most part, but a lot of these have always had an episode where they tried to tackle a social issue that they thought a lot of the young Black kids were going through. I will go through at some point. I will at some point have somebody address it to them. And that is what is going on today with this kids cartoon from the 90s. And a lot of people, Black, white, and in between, a lot of people love this cartoon. I even love this cartoon. And I wasn't even a kid. I was pretty much an adult at the time this came out. But I thought it was something that was, again, had a character that looked like me. And it's something I wish I had when I was a kid. And you probably already know what it is. And of course, you can tell by that theme song, for everybody who's familiar with this and loved it, that's Static Shock. And I really like Static Shock because Static Shock was, like I said, it was a Black superhero, and it was something that we probably had this when I was a kid, but they usually did it for comedy. They did it lighthearted. Oh, yeah. And we didn't. I don't think we had something with a character that like this of color that was as cool as Static Shock, man. And Static Shock was cool because he existed in the same world as Batman, the same universe and whatnot. And usually in the show, he did superhero stuff, very cool superhero stuff. He fought supervillains, he fought crime, he saved the day, had a secret identity, went home to his parents and was a good kid. It was standard, but very, very fun superhero stuff. Now, as I said, with these cartoons, every now and then, outside of the fun and games, we have to tackle something that's very serious. And this is the episode that a lot of people remember. And this is the episode where Static Shock's best friend didn't really want to have him over because his dad was a racist. And Static Shock finally got to experience when he pretty much forced himself over to his friend's house, guilted himself over to his friend's house. Did you ever see this episode when you were a kid?
No. Well, I saw this episode, but I didn't see the ones prior. This is the only episode I saw as a kid. But more so, what made this actually come in my mind recently is, do you see a little bit of yourself in this episode where you had to introduce Martin to your dad?
You know what? It was funny because I had this. I told a story about. If you've watched any of the other shows, I got a co-host Martin, and also Martin's one of my best friends. I've known Martin for over 20 years, and this episode is almost like the experience that I had with Martin, except my dad, who as you can see is black and white in this picture, but who's black, just was racist against Martin. But not because of Martin's skin color. It was just he just was racist against Martin. He didn't like Martin.
Yeah.
My dad was like, what the hell you think you're doing bringing this man up in this house with all these kids running around? He thought that Martin was a pedophile for some reason.
Yeah. What's so funny though is like the way this guy's talking, I'm just thinking like Martin going downstairs and just overhearing your dad talk about him like, that with the hat, he comes in this house, like I hate them.
Yeah.
And it's just
yeah,
it's just crazy.
I don't know what got into my dad. My dad had even met Martin before, but he pretty much in front of Martin's face told him, "Who the hell do you think you are bringing your pedophilia ass up in here, man?" So yeah, I don't pedophile ass up in here. So yeah, man, this episode does kind of remind me of that, except everybody in my episode was black, and my dad's still here. But let's go ahead and get into the show, this episode of the show. And I like the way the episode starts because I told you this is a 90s cartoon, man. And this starts in a very 90s way. It starts in a mall.
The funky jams.
I know, yeah. You can, and whenever we see the mall in a movie or a show, we always open up in the food court, man. So malls are making a comeback right now, but I mean, malls were huge in the 90s, man. People made movies around malls. A lot of times people congregated at the mall. That was where kids always kind of met up. So this is a very, very 90s thing, man. And I also like the first people that we see. Now I just got through talking about my dad. I love the way this opens up because this opens up with a dad and his son, and it's a black dad and his son. And when I say a black dad, he is very much, Nick. I don't know how much experience you've had with black dads, but I can tell you right now, this dude right here.
Not a lot.
Not a lot. Okay, well I'm gonna tell you, just by experience, that this is very much a black dad that we see right here.
Dad, you're not gonna believe it, but a big black icky duck thing's coming out the floor and it's getting bigger and bigger like a big balloon.
You drinking too much sugar again?
Now, I say this because no matter what you say to a black dad, if he's not in the mood to hear it, he's gonna tell you, "Shut up, boy." Sorry, you on drugs? Or you drinking too much sugar? This man's about to get attacked by a shadow monster, a shadow villain, and he's still talking shit to his son. My dad would have done the same thing to me. "Dad, there's a big shadow monster behind you. Shut up, boy." That's very much what a black dad is like. Even though this is tackling racism, it's still very much a superhero show. So, they're not going to try to make this heavy-handed. They're not going to try to, hit you over the head immediately with a social statement. Or something, not going to hit you with racism. We still want to have fun with this. It's still a superhero show. So before getting into the deep stuff with this, Nick, we got to go do some superhero stuff. And as you can see, this is opening up with at the mall immediately with supervillains attacking and robbing people, typical of a superhero story.
Your valuables now.
That's right, folks. It's for a good cause. Me.
And if you look at this, Nick, they are already showing racial harmony. You got black and white committing crime together. You got the blackest of the black over here, Shadow Man, committing crime along with his white friend. So, they're already trying to show you that black and white can work together. And I would say this is also the first sign that this is telling us that this was written by a white guy. This is a lot of these shows, even when they had black characters, a lot of them were still written by a white guy. And when this character talks, you can tell it was written by a white guy.
Today, lady, sakes alive, woman can't go shopping without bumping into hoodlums every which way.
Sakes alive, great tarnation, glory be. It's an old black woman. They got her talking like Harriet Tubman or something, man. You know what I'm saying?
That's a little rough, man. And that happens later on at the end of the episode too. There's a character that's not black that talks a certain way as well. We'll get into it later, but it's like, I don't think all black people were different in late 90s here. I think that's just something that has, the writer has an issue.
I'm not even saying the writer's racist. I'm not even saying that. I'm not even talking bad about the writer. I'm just saying that, probably some of these writers did not have a lot of experience with black people or friends of black people, especially with old black people. And so, I can imagine that he just, in his head, this old black woman talked like a slave, so it's very easy in other parts of this show to oh, that was good. Oh boy.
Good God bless you.
Oh, good glory be tarnation. Sakes alive, that was good.
I ain't saying no more.
Maybe that dude was right.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of parts in this episode where you're going to have examples of that. But I'll tell you this though, she might talk like an old slave, and the writing might be kind of cringy with her. But they went out of their way to make her a badass.
Here it is.
Fuck you! Sprayed his ass with Cheeto cheese over there, man. Put that Trump spray on him.
Hell yeah, dude.
He's all orange and shit. Do you know the name of this character? The main villain. His name's Shadow.
I can't remember. That sounds like it would be it though. I mean, it's pretty basic, but yeah, that sounds like that would be the character's name. But I can't remember, man.
Yeah, I think his name is Shadow, but. His main villain's all right. They're gonna mess up. They always do. That's just almost a part of the genre now. Henchmen are always supposed to mess up. The main villain though is supposed to actually have, he's supposed to have his shit together. And this guy kind of sucks more than they do.
You think I'd be tired of cleaning up after you guys? No way!
Now you would think that his glowing hand would tell you to get the fuck out the way. You see, like his hand started glowing and he was still going in.
You think I'd be tired of cleaning up after you guys? No way!
At this point, you can move. You can dodge.
I will say though, and hopefully I don't detract from what you're talking about here, but at the same time, it's like, do you feel like this is almost like the villains do suck, or is it always maybe it's Static Shock just being too powerful? He's OP basically is what the cool kids would say.
Yeah, overpowered.
You feel like that's it?
That's a good question. I think. Listen, we got 22 minutes to do this show. Without commercials, so. They make it easy for him to defeat the villains. I mean, it's that this is not the main part of the story. This is not the main fight yet. They I guess they're supposed to suck a little bit so he can take them down easily and we can get on with the story. So, I mean, it's a little convenient, not the best writing in the world, but I mean, I can see why they suck and he had to get this out the way. And he does defeat the villains. And here's where we get into some more funny observations about how this was written. These are people of color, black characters who were written by a white writer. So because in the 90s they had a lot of that. Today it's almost kind of a first that you see as many black writers as you do working today on TV shows, especially even with characters or even with shows with black characters. But in the 90s, there were not a lot of black writers. So you had white writers who were writing for black characters, and it was hilarious, man, because they were always trying to get the slang down, and they were trying too hard to be hip, and you always heard it in the dialogue.
All in a day's work. If your job is being Dakota's funky fresh hero, that is.
Funky fresh. There you go. There you go. They got them arthritis hands, you know.
Yeah, dude.
Funky fresh.
If he had a gun, he would do it like this.
Yeah, he'd be shooting sideways. Yeah.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, man. They get the hip hop yo-yo hands, and my man keeps going. It's like whatever the hip word or the lingo was, they crowbarred. They forced that shit into the dialogue.
Hey, Static can't help it if he's fatter than fat.
Not just fat. Fat would have been fine, but we had to go fatter than fat. PH, by the way. PHAT.
Jesus, dude.
Yeah, you know, that's the only thing about these, man, because kids, you know, they didn't care as long as the show was fun. But when I was watching this, I was like, Jesus, boy, you know, y'all can pull back a little bit, man. But, you know, at this point, we start getting into the main story.
Face it, bro. You've never invited me over. I've never even met your pops.
Well, it's just more fun over here, that's all. Why are you sweating me over this, V?
Oh, there goes that hip lingo, man. Why you sweating me, yo, Virgil? Yo, son, why you, yo, man, let's have fun. Let's chill here, man.
No, see, so this is what I was talking about. I don't mind that he doesn't understand, like, the black characters or whatever, like, you know, as far as the writing goes, or maybe it's just out of date or whatever, and probably nobody had an issue. But when the white dude, who's constantly like, you know, yo, man, like later on, there's a part where he's like, man, it's busting or something crazy like that. I'm like, yeah, like there's stuff that came up before this show that makes fun of white dudes who talk like that. So now you're doing it. Yeah. Oh yeah, I've seen this joke. I mean, like, wasn't this around the time Malibu's Most Wanted came out around within a 5-year span? And I'm just kind of like, yeah, like we already know that it's funny that white people do this, and then you have a white character who's not supposed to be like the comedic interest. And he's talking like that. Like, that's kind of, I mean, are you really that? Like, I'm not trying to, like, insult the writer, but you're kind of blind to the obvious joke here. That's just kind of ridiculous.
Like, if it felt natural for that character to talk like that, that would be one thing. But he kind of, that's the thing. It's cringy enough for the black characters. But for the white character to do it, and he's not even really like that, because he switches modes. Like, most of the time, he's just, you know, an average guy. But then he's like, there are points where he's trying to be real hip, or the writer tries to make him real hip, and he's like, yo, why you sweating me, B? You know, and it doesn't feel natural. It actually feels, feels fake. Hip hop culture, that's when it was really starting to hit mainstream. Again, black culture was always hip. So it was something where they knew the kids were loving it, so everybody had to do it. At least every young person had to do it, because this show did have. It didn't have just a black audience. You know, it was popular enough to where it had a variety of people watching. So it was just another attempt to make these kids, you know, be cool. But, you know, just like, and I won't even blame it on just on the writer being white. I would say that, you know, plus the writer is an adult and he's trying to write for kids cool. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, you know, it's just one of those things where an adult was trying too hard to be hip, and it showed. But anyway. You got Richie though. So when Richie's busted, man, you know, and he's pretty much held to task by Virgil or Static Shock, saying, yeah, you never let me to the house, man. You never invited me over. Richie's got no choice at that point but to do it. And when he does it, he actually tries to be smart about it. Because we all know this episode is about Richie's racist dad. So Richie's, you know, he says, all right, you got me. I'll invite you over. And God bless Richie. He tries to be cool with it, man. He tries to be smart about it. But it still backfires.
There's your father. I'd better go talk to him. I thought he was on the night shift. It got changed.
Oh, he smelled black ass up in that house. That's why he came home early. He knew something was wrong up in his home. And you could tell he's pissed by the way he already slammed that door, man. So something happened with him today. He did not have a good day at all. So the last thing he wants to see is Static Shock's black ass up in his house. But poor Static, man. Him and Richie have been friends so long. I guess Static has just lived such a nice life. He hasn't really experienced the harshness of the world yet, except for fighting crime. You know, he's experienced supervillains. He's experienced all kind of crime, all kind of violations against human beings, but I don't know if he's experienced racism that much, because he is very naive about what's happening with Richie's dad.
Hey, Dad.
This is my friend Virgil. Remember, I told you about him.
Not nearly enough.
And yeah, it's like he's like, okay, so he kind of put it out there plain. Like he's looking straight at Static or Virgil and saying pretty much, what are you doing here? Nobody told me that your black ass was going to be here. And yet, sweet old Virgil, sweet, nice, old, naive Virgil, how does he react?
He's not like this normally.
Hey, I've had days like that myself.
Oh, hey, he's cool, man. Your dad's not racist. He just had a bad day. Come on, man. Ain't it?
I've had days like that myself. I've walked around, there's people of other colors, and I can't stand them. I totally understand.
It gets worse. Like his dad, like you can see his dad is just pissed about having this black kid in his house. And yet, for some reason, Virgil, Static Shock, he just cannot read the racist room.
I brought over the latest MC Rapwell CD.
There will be no rap played in this house. That music teaches kids to disrespect their parents.
The rap that he's talking about, like I thought he was talking about hardcore gangster rap. He's talking about killing people and bitches and hoes, shooting up people and gangs and all that kind of stuff. But no, this is the kind of rap that he hates.
It's all garbage. It tells kids to write on walls, stay out past curfew.
That's it? Will Smith wrote that shit, man. That's how you know that he's racist, man. Because even some innocent shit like staying out past curfew and doing some innocent graffiti. Oh no, it's still that African yah black ass music. I don't want to hear that shit.
He's out there listening to Ice Baby shit out of my house.
Yeah. What he's talking about is the intro to the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, man. The original. The shit he's talking about is parents just can't understand. Will Smith rap, the most innocent rap, pisses him off, man. He even pulls the white guys built this country card.
It tears down everything guys like me built.
Guys like me, white people, white dudes. And I mean, he put it out there, man. I mean, I don't like black music. I don't like you in my house just by the way I'm looking at you. I'm telling you that you ain't shit because white people built this country. And still, Static doesn't get it, man.
Will you stop? My pops hates hip hop too. It's not a black-white thing, it's an old thing.
Your dad's just old. He ain't racist. Your dad had a bad day and he's old. Get me a layoff of him. Wow, Richie, you're the racist one, man. Come on, lighten up. The dad just finally has to spell it out for him. I mean, he doesn't tell Virgil directly, but Virgil just has to hear it just pretty much, blatantly lay it out for him.
And now I see why Richie acts like a hood, Maggie. That kid's a bad influence. All his kind are.
And that's funny because now it's dawned. Look at this. I almost felt sorry for Virgil here, Static Shock, because it just dawned on him. He's like, hey, I think that this guy is racist. I expected the dad to run out and say, what the thing I've been telling the whole time? I gotta call you to your face? If that's what it takes.
He has that shocked Pikachu face right now. He's like,
I know.
What?
Hey, you might say that Static is shocked.
Oh, I'm gonna go. That's awful.
I mean, he's racist, yes, but you get the feeling that he just doesn't like anything. I mean, especially black people, but this guy hates the world. He's just mad all the time. I doubt he likes anyone.
On top of all that, traffic was a bear. This city, Maggie, this city.
You know what? And a guy like that, and I'm not trying to make light of this or anything, but a guy that is this angry, a guy that the first thing he does when he comes in, he's slamming doors and complaining about his job and complaining about the world. Did it ever cross your mind, or did you ever get the feeling that he's beating his wife?
Oh yeah, and beating Richie too.
Yeah, him and Richie. He's got this family terrified, man. You know, I'm sure he's beating his wife because, there's a lot of times where he looks like he just wants to smack her.
He didn't spend the night there?
No, he didn't, Mrs. F. I can call around and see if I can find him.
I'd appreciate that.
Did you see that?
Yo, if we put in the beginning, his hand's shaking like she's like, I'm trying not to this bitch up. Like,
yeah. He's like, I want to smack this bitch so hard right now. You see his hand trembling.
He didn't spend the night there?
No, he didn't, Mrs.
Why
F.
you?
I can call around and see if I can find him.
And look at, he's like, let me get out of here before I choke her ass. Look at him. He wants to hit her so bad. Here's where things get crazy. So naturally, Richie is not happy with his dad, and Richie's like, "Me get the before I catch another fist in my face." So he's like, you know what? To hell with you, Dad. You mean to my friend. I'm drawing the line right here. I am out.
My best friend's gone because of you and your stupid racism. I hate you. Hey.
Well, he better be glad Dad didn't catch his ass. He would have gave him a fresh one. Would have threw his ass over that balcony. Bring your little ass in. Who the hell you think you talking to? So Richie runs away. That's what had me laughing. Richie he picks the wrong time to leave because it's freezing cold outside.
Oh.
Yeah, and for some reason, Richie decides to leave not only when it's cold, but he decides to go to the worst part of town. So he decides to go to the hood.
Hang out with the homies.
I gotta find my homies around here. But not only does he run away in freezing cold, and not only does he run away in freezing cold and go to the hood, but as you can see, he's going down like the darkest alleys that he can find. That's why when I saw this, I said I knew he was gonna get robbed. I mean, that was just a given. He's gonna get mugged because that's what happens in these things where people go to the hood or go to the bad part of town. They go down the alley. There's somebody always waiting to steal their money, their wallets, or their jewelry. That's some Batman shit right there. But
yeah,
I was prepared for him to get robbed. Who he was robbed by caught me way off guard. I was like, what the f?
What you got in the backpack, punk? Smells like peanut butter. Crunchy.
What the f? So not only did he get mugged, he got mugged by he got mugged by a werewolf and an armadillo man in the middle of the day, by the way.
I'm gonna be honest, I understand where Dad's coming from now. Like, this is what he deals with when he's outside. There's shark dog people coming after him and weird fucking alien looking folks. Like, he must have had a bad day being out there.
Yeah. It's Rocksteady and Bebop around the corner, man. Some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle shit that's happening right now. And it's funny because, since they're mutants, so let's just go ahead and have them do like crazy stuff. So instead of just simply mugging him with a gun or a weapon, he's like, shit, I'm an armadillo, man. I am a weapon. I'm gonna roll into a ball and try to bowl his ass over.
I'm gonna bowl him over.
I like the way they want to animate the crash, so they they had that happen off screen right there. But yeah, damn, Armadillo Man turned to a big ball of cheese and tried to roll over. And the dog, the werewolf, the dog dude, he was about to tear his ass up. The Armadillo Man, I wasn't scared of that because that's just silly. But this damn werewolf out there, if he had caught him, he would have ripped his ass to pieces. Yeah, he down there barking like a real dog,
Yeah.
I thought that was actually kind of funny, man. I thought that was funny that you got werewolves and mutant armadillo people running around the city, and yet Dad is worried about black people. That's your biggest concern. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Now that's racism for your ass right there. When the mutants, when you hate black people more than the mutants that are running around town in the middle of the day, robbing and trying to kill your kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, mad about that, mad about black people, mad about traffic, but not about those mutant creatures that try to rob us.
Not those damn armadillo men running around here. No, they're all right.
Well, fiending for peanut butter and shit.
Yeah. Static, of course, is looking for Richie, and he actually finds him.
Now what?
Go ahead, Static. Do your thing.
I'll check you later.
Still talking that slang. Hey, Static, do your thing. Not thing, do your thing, Static.
Yeah, yo.
That's why he's friends with Static. Virgil because he wants to have black cred. He wants to have, he wants to have, he's trying to work his way up to using that N-word, man. I guess he doesn't know. Well, yeah, he does know that Virgil's Static Shock. And, and Static is telling him, man, go home. You're in the hood. You just got attacked by mutants. Take your ass home. Of course, Richie doesn't do that, man. And Richie gets into more trouble. For I know that this is Richie's gonna be all right and everything, but Jesus, that was kind of disturbing the way he grabbed him, man.
The little hand sticking out at the end, where he's like,
the hand sticking out, yeah, the hand sticking out the end, like he's being absorbed by blah. The whole rape scene right here. Pulling him in.
I know.
Yeah, man.
Getting absorbed by his inner blackness, Just
Finally, I'm pure black. But so Richie's dad is out there looking for him too. Richie might listen. We might think that Richie's beating his son, but he's still a dad. So there's still some love for him. So he takes his racism over to Static's dad.
If Virgil says he doesn't know where Richie is, he doesn't know.
And you trust him knowing how thick they are?
I like the way he's saying, you trust that black son of yours? Pretty much, pretty much being, talking racist shit to his dad. And the guy doesn't quit. He's looking at, Pops is what, they call Virgil's dad. So he's talking to Pops, man. He's looking for Pops for help. And he's still talking that racist shit.
Richie always goes on and on about Virgil and his cool dad, but he never even told me you were
African American.
No, man.
By the way, hold on. That picture, can you rewind it really quick?
Yeah, I can.
And show that picture? Because there's something I want to bring up. Yeah, don't you think that's a little weird that Static Shock and Richie are taking a picture with just like the dad? Like that sounds like a little like that looks sus, man. I don't know.
Because Richie hates his dad. Shit, Pops is more of a dad to Richie than Richie's dad.
I'm surprised Richie's dad didn't go like, "Are you touching my boy?
That
you
is
too?
true. That is true.
Yeah, dude,
you're black, but you're a fucking pedophile too.
Yeah.
What did you do to my son? Hey, I can see I see what you're saying in that picture right there. Yeah, anytime I don't know, man. Yeah, it looks, to have, because I know, what's weird about it is that Pops has, I can understand having a picture of his son on his desk, but he also has a picture of Richie too.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the weird part.
That makes it official, like they're an official family. Like if your dad saw that picture, he slammed that shit on the desk, like mother.
Yeah,
what the f on with you and Richie?
Yeah, what are your intentions with my son?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it, man. I see what you're saying. It is very weird. It is.
Yeah.
It is, man. Reluctantly, because I got to hang out with this black son of a bitch now. But Richie's dad hangs out with Pop, and they agree to go looking for Richie together.
Most of them are good kids, but sometimes when they don't see eye to eye with their parents, they feel like they'd rather be anywhere but home, even a place like this.
You mean like Richie and me, huh?
Pops, I guess he works with kids in trouble, and he thought that maybe somehow Richie would have gone in there. And it's funny because it's like a crack house, man. At the end. That's the first thing. First thing that Pop thought to go look for Richie was in a crack house. It was like, do you think, is there something about Richie that we don't?
With the end of Bebe's kids, like,
yeah.
What the
yeah, man. But he says, listen, this might be these kids might look like a bunch of crackheads and whatnot, but they're good kids. And I tell you what, I see where Virgil gets his naivete from, because Dad believes that all these kids are very good kids.
There's a new squat you could check out. Building way on the north end.
Thanks.
Okay, so it seems good enough, right? But the moment they turn their backs, I almost believe that kid, man.
Yeah, you might not be thanking me when you get there.
You old sons of bitches.
Yeah, dude.
So we know that something's about to go down. Something's about to happen. But before it does, being that this is a kid show, somebody's got to learn a lesson. We just can't let Richie's dad go around and be racist to the whole show. You know, somebody's got to put him in check. And it just turns out that while they're looking for Richie, you know, Richie's dad says something, and at that point, Pops, he's just sick of his racist shit.
Well, I know your kind, Foley. Fine, upstanding bigot. His nose so close to the grindstone he can't see anything else. Richie ran away from you a long time ago, Foley. And who can blame him?
You turn away from me, you black. Now, he wants to punch him too. He got that same look on his face that he had with his wife. Now, I thought that was actually pretty cool. I thought that for a kid's show, that dialogue, at least the beginning of that dialogue, I thought, man, that's pretty good writing for, you know, that's something that's supposed to be for, you know, aimed towards kids.
Well, I know your kind, Foley. I've seen your kind all my life. A fine, upstanding bigot. His nose so close to the grindstone he can't see anything else.
You know, I thought, wow, you know, that's actually pretty good. The writing right there.
Yeah, for something as fun as this, and for something that, you know, like there's this whole storyline going on that's probably way more interesting than this particular conversation for most kids. This was actually very, very necessary. This is like the most necessary part of the entire episode. Yeah, and I like that, you know, this is something that is so serious, you know, racism, that they didn't want to dumb down the dialogue with Pops right here. You know, they pretty much wrote it in a very mature way, you know, so that they could get the message across. That was actually pretty good, man. So, you know, we know that things are about to go down. We're about to get into some superhero stuff again. The Shadow guy comes back, and yeah, Yvonne, by the way, that's his name, or Evan.
Okay, so, and he continues to suck even more. I mean, we saw him. So we saw him earlier, man. Pretty much. We saw him earlier, pretty much engulf Richie. You know, he pretty much absorbed him for a little while, man.
You white bitch, give me some chum chum.
Yeah. And the whole time that it's gonna sound nasty, but the whole time that Richie was inside you, you did not know. You didn't check. You couldn't feel that he had a phone on him.
The Ferris Row Projects. Dude, seriously, you need to fire your realtor.
What are you doing, punk?
What do you mean? Hey!
What's this?
Like, you didn't know that before? You didn't know you couldn't feel that shit when he was actually inside your body? Or you didn't check to frisk him when you brought him back? So this guy sucks pretty hard, man. But you know, he discovers the phone. And Richie's been using it, like he has it on and like kind of tell Static where he is. And of course he's busted and discovered. But too late. You know, Static got the location and he's there.
Someone say my name?
And I'll tell you this, man, even more 90s. That theme song is very 90s.
Yeah.
That theme song is what they call like a New Jack. You know, it was because all these New Jack songs, they usually had a bunch of black dudes. You're like, hey, ho, 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 ho. You know, I actually like the theme song though, man. I love it. It's again, it's very 90s, but it's very cool too. So Static, he saves the day, man. Of course, because that's what superheroes are supposed to do in these type of shows. Like I tell you, guy sucks big time. But of course, he's supposed to suck because he's supposed to lose. And because a black kid, not only because my man got cussed out and told off by a black man, but because a black kid saved his son's ass, Dad finally, after all this time, Dad finally realizes the errors of his racist ways.
Son, I'm sorry.
Oh, look at those tears just washing that racism right out his body, man. Look at that. That racism just flowing all out his body right now, cleansing his spirit. And it's a happy ending, man. You know, Dad ain't racist no more, man. He actually you know, baby steps. They still probably not sure about the house, but he actually lets black people into his car now.
Dakota Comic-Con opens in 15 minutes, bro.
Thanks for taking the day off to take us, Mr. F.
No problem. tell you the truth, I always been curious about those events.
They're talking about this convention that's going on. And that's funny because I love the way this ends. Because they're talking about going to the convention. Dad is going to go with them. He's actually going to hang out with a black kid. You know, he's made some progress. But let's not rush things too much.
Just wait till you see all the people in costumes and makeup. Even the guys.
I want to see his expression.
Yeah, he might not be a racist anymore, but he's still a homophobe. One step at a time. You know,
Yeah.
This is cool, man. You know, that they were able to confront the racism as bluntly as they did. And I never saw this episode before, man. Maybe I did and I forgot, but I think something as heavy as this I would have remembered. But you know, I really appreciated them, like, you know, not pulling any punches with this. I mean, besides they would just shop using the N-word and whatnot. But yeah, you know, the message was for a kids show was pushed very well. And again, they were able to keep you know, still make this fun, still keep the superhero stuff in there, and still do a good job at addressing, you know, the social issue, which is racism here. What you think about the episode, man?
I mean, here's the thing, man. It's like, I like the episode and everything, and I'm not going to take any points off in the sense of, like, you know, the obligated, like, superhero shit. But at the end, it's like, you couldn't even say sorry to the black kid. Like, he you know, he hugs his son. I'm sorry, son, for hating them. It's like, what the are you apologizing to him for? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I mean, I understand him slightly apologizing because I'm like, oh, I said no for your friend to be over, but like, we don't really actually get anywhere with this character. Like, just because he sheds a couple of tears, nothing was solved here. And honestly,
come on,
like,
man, he's made progress. He actually touches black people now. You know, 30 minutes ago he wouldn't have done that, man. You know, look at that. He actually put his hands on one. So yeah, like I said, baby steps, man.
That's true.
That is the apology right there. I touched you. I touched your dirty black skin. Yeah, it's rushed. It's oversimplified, but it's a kid show. I understand what they're trying to do. But I do listen. I do see your point. I mean, any other circumstance, yeah, this would be ridiculous, and it would not. We would need more time. You know, that character would not be. You know, it would be seasons before this character turns around. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I get it. And you know, what, to your point, Nick, maybe they could have made that character a recurring character that was somebody that changed over time. You know, that's something that would have been kind of cool to see for a kid's show. So I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, but overall though, man, yeah, just a really, really smart way. They've kind of like paced everything in the sense of like, you start with the superhero shit, so every kid who's watching it for that are excited and happy, and then you get this, and I'm like, that's a very intelligent way to pace this whole thing out. And Static Shock is awesome, man. I would hope that it comes back. There's talks about it coming back. Yeah, so
and that would be cool if they bring something like this back. And it's funny because I didn't know this, but they said wait until Richie's dad finds out he's gay, like in the comics. I didn't know that. He's gonna beat his ass when that happens, man. So there you go, folks. That is our Toon review. Hope you enjoyed yourself.